This is the story of my 30 years at 18 Snape Drive. So 1986, started shoe repairing. Then in 1989, mid-August, saw an advert and it said shoe repair machinery, listed out what was there, and it was a Lowestoft telephone number. Saw that advert on the Saturday, and Saturday night I decided to ring, because I was worried it was going to be my boss in case, you know, I rang as his employee to buy his machinery. I was like, oh, this is a bit risky. And he said on the Saturday that he got this shop in Snape Drive, and that he'd been there 3 months and couldn't make it pay and was, you know, needed to get out as quick as possible. Me and Chopper, probably, yeah, I would imagine it was Chopper, drove around there, looked through the window, give it a bit of that. Couldn't really see a lot because the machinery and everything was all behind a little partition wall. I went home on the Saturday night, and my dad always used to sit up for me, and on the Saturday night, walked in at 2 in the morning and said, "Dad, can you lend me some money?" And he just said to me, "I'll lend you the money on the condition that I can come and see what you're spending the money on." Sunday, we go and look at the machinery. I agreed I'd have it, and as a passing comment on the way out, my dad said, "You don't want to get rid of the shop as well, do you?" And the bloke was like, "Yeah, but the rent's due on the 21st, which was a week later. I would need to be out on the 21st if that's going to happen." So we agreed it. Monday I handed him a notice. I put my car up for sale outside the shop where I worked, and 2 days later I sold that. So I sold that on the Wednesday. On the Thursday we signed the leases and everything, and then on the Saturday I picked up the keys. It was the 21st of August 1989. I become a shopkeeper. It was me, yeah, signing a 21-year lease at 20 years old. So
you signed a lease?
Yeah.
More than you'd even lived?
Yeah, signed a lease for longer than I'd lived, yeah. God, yeah. Blooming hell. yeah, that's, yeah. Oh. And then we spent the first probably 5 years getting it off the ground, spending all the money that I was earning. I lived at home, and my mum and dad were just, well, they're just fantastic, you know. They yeah, lent me money and all sorts to get it going. And yeah, so that was a pretty exciting week. And
8 days.
Yeah,
and 30 years.
Yeah, and it was one of those weeks where you don't know whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, but you've got no time to think about it. First day, my mum came in with me in the morning. She came to support me, and we tidied up what little stock was in the shop. We put everything on sale, and I can't remember my first customer. I can't remember being busy. I mean, we weren't, you know, it was at that time it was a failing shop that I took over. I remember Mum staying till just after lunch, and I remember her leaving, and I remember standing at the counter where it was at that time, looking out at the shop, and the sun was streaming through the window, and it was like that sort of dawning realisation of, blimey hell, I'm here, I've done it, you know, I've got my own business. Suddenly you're like stood there and you're like, oh my God, yes, that's an exciting day. I mean, there was no real day or pinnacle where it started to take off. It just was a gradual, steady progression. As I stood the day I started the shop, I'd only ever shoe repaired and cut mortise keys. Day one, I was cutting cylinder keys. My career has been a long progression of self-teaching and progressing into various areas and learning what I need to learn for those areas and making it pay. You just gradually evolve. And yeah, I mean, I did keys, shoe repairs. I remember the biggest wage rise I ever got was when I started doing engraving. And it was a manual engraver. It didn't, you know, now everything's computerised, but at that time it was a manual one. And yeah, I do remember that as being quite an exciting time because the loan was comfortable to pay off. It was paying for itself, and I was earning more money. And yeah, so that was like a good stepping stone. You've got to bear in mind this was the late 80s, early 90s, and the only way you could get publicity was through newspapers, radio and TV. And that was what every small business was striving to get in the papers, to get in the advertisers, to get on radio. That was the thing that could get you out to the public who didn't know you existed. And there was a competition that the trade ran, Shoe Repairer of the Year. I think I first entered that in 94, which was about 4 or 5 years after I started. It might have been 93, but entered the shoe repair of the year, and they had a judge come round and he would spend the day with you. He would look at all your shop, your work, everything, every aspect of your business. But the things that were letting me down, that was actually why I started engraving, was that I didn't do engraving and I didn't do watch repairs, which were like an up and coming new thing that our industry was doing. And I kept jogging along getting top 12 places because my actual shoe repairs were great, but I didn't do everything. And then in 1999, everything was in place. I'd done an awful lot of work inside my shop, and I actually won the shoe repairer of the year. That was in 1999.
So how long have you been in business?
At that time, 10 years. 10 years, yeah. I'd met Rhiannon and got married in that time. She met me in the shop and paid me with a cheque, had her name on it, so I knew her name. And then she came back a day or two later and I'd remembered her, and we hooked up on a date and met in the shop. So that was kind of nice. That was the one. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, yeah. Our first date, we went bowling, temping bowling, and then we went out for a meal and just hit it off. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And yeah, so the shop's got a lot of stories to tell to me personally as well. Obviously, through winning the competition, we managed to get on the front page of the Lowestoft Journal, Waveney Advertiser, got on the EDP, the East Anglian Daily Times. I actually got a run of 3 interviews. 2 were on Radio Suffolk and 1 was on Radio 2, BBC 2. So I got a lot of interviews, a lot of publicity, and things skyrocketed. And for 2 or 3 years we were sailing on the crest of a wave. You know, we were doing really, really well. Long days, lots of work. And then the internet came along. And this was, I think I first got my first internet at work around about 2002, 2003. So I connected to the internet, and then I was on this fabulous World Wide Web trying to solve a problem I had with a car. I thought, I wonder if I can solve this on the internet. And I found a website, and it was called hackmycar.com, and it was a forum. And on that forum I asked the question, how blah, 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 and someone gave me the answer. Bosh, sorted my problem out. And I was like, wow, that is clever, that is, these things called forums. So in 2004, which is the same year that Facebook started, I started a website which was called shoerepairer.info, and it was a forum-based website for the shoe repair trade. So I thought, well, there's scope for like small shops like me to find other small shops that either could help you do a job or give you the answer on how to do a job. So I started the shoerepairer.info forum, and that was in 2004, and it went ballistic. It's now the world's largest English-speaking trade-based website for our industry in the world. I did a lot of charity work in that period and raised quite a lot of money for charity doing sporting endeavours. As a team of shoe repairers, really, you know, we all raised a lot of money. But I started getting into triathlon, so I started racing bikes, which I'd never done sport before, but it was purely from the forum. And bikes sort of took over my personal life, you know, I loved them. But during that period, for me, it was the only down period in my business journey. I took my eye off the ball of my own shop through building the forum, and I hit a rock bottom phase. I was earning a living, but I was struggling to earn a living. It was hard work. I don't know how you would describe that, but it wasn't doing what it was. And I brought my bike in, cleaned it up. A friend of mine brought his in, I cleaned that up. They both sat there, and a lady came in and said, oh, I see you do bike repairs. How much do you charge for punctures? And it was just like a light bulb moment. It's just like, punctures, bike repairs. What if I added bike repairs, you know? So we started doing bike repairs. It's a funny sort of area now, because we're known as Bike Speeds for the bike repairs and cobb-lees for the shoe repair side. They're kind of totally separate. And if you come in the shop, I'm neither one nor the other. I'm more like a department store now. Anyway, so we started in 2014 with Bike Speeds, and we started doing bike repairs, and they've absolutely turned the business around. We've gone from not failing business, but a struggling business, to back on that crest of the wave. So in 2016, 2 years after we started Bike Speeds, I decided that the forum, the thing that really had sort of made me a household name and given me so much in terms of bikes because of the sporting aspect of it, I decided that it was too time consuming, so I sold it. It was a massive decision, and I actually sold it on the site itself. I put a for sale advert on the shoe repair forum for it being for sale. That was so funny. Sold it the same day. So it was great. I sold it to a big national company. They're still running it. So I got this small stock amount, bike stand, tool cabinet, looking to business, one bike the first week. I was like, oh, this isn't so good. Second week, couple of bikes. This is all right. Third or fourth week, couple of bikes a day, and suddenly you're like, well, actually, this is going. And that energy, buzz and excitement it gives you when an idea takes off, that it's just such a buzz when you see an idea that you are actually earning some money out of. As you know, you came on board with it, and I think that was a valuable lesson. As an older person, or an older generation than the young person talking to you, you can learn so much from their new mind, from their new ideas. We together built the Bike Speeds brand to where locally we're actually a really strong brand. In fact, we're almost into the East Anglian rather than Lowestoft. You know, we've built a wider branding, and the growth has been strong with it. You know, we've year on year, we're busier and busier and busier, to the point now where we go in the morning, and the days that you're with me, we're flat out. Absolutely, you know, from the minute we get there to the minute we come home, we are flat out. Busier than I've been in decades, you know, and 30 years later, I finally feel like almost like a successful entrepreneur. I've proved that going from that first starting day of that week where we got the shop, and then changing things, engraving and all these different things we've tried, and then shifting the business into two ways with the Bike Speeds and the cobb-lees. It's just, yeah, it's been an amazing journey. And 30 years later, we are surviving where many other businesses have failed, and it's just like, wow. Yeah, I'm quite proud of 30 years. It's a good number. So who do you thank? Mum and Dad, because obviously they saw that, or trusted me enough on that day when I came back and said, can I borrow some money? Rhiannon, because she came in on the journey and has been through the good and the bad, and, you know, has put up with a lot. And then naturally, customers, you know, each and every one of you. You know, you walk in and out of a shop, you don't ever think of the person behind the counter and the fact that they've got a life outside of the shop that you're helping finance, you know, by using them. A lot of my customers have been through seeing me meet Rhiannon, seeing me get married, seeing me have a family. They love that story, you know, and I'm happy to share it. And the customers are great. Without them, where would you be? You know, you do literally get customers who just go from customer to acquaintance, friend. You would almost call them family. You know, they become more than a customer.
Mum.
Yeah, mum. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just got to say thank you. You know, without the customers, you would be no shop at all. 30 years, and we've done it together. It's been great. It's been really good. Been a good 30 years, without a doubt. I love it. Never tire of going to work, never tire of looking out that window. Yeah, so it's good. It's been a good 30 years, without a doubt. Never tired of going, never tired of unlocking the door. Had a few times when I've been uncertain about unlocking the door, but never tired of unlocking the door. It's been, love it. Love going to work. It's good.